Man, I totally love Super Metroid and basically the whole Metroid series. If you haven't noticed, the health system or energy system is somewhat different from what you see traditionally in games. You may be wondering yourself, how can I do this? Well, I will just show you that. Come on in. Hello and welcome everybody to GMLearning, where I will show you something cool in GameMaker Studio 2. And let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, I am wearing a mustache. Why? Because it's November 2nd today, and this means it's also Movember. Hashtag Movember. If you don't know about it, Google it if you want to. If you don't care, whatever. Right, so this is basically, for me, this is some sort of deja vu, because I already recorded this, but I recorded it in 720p and you couldn't really see anything of what was going on. So here I'm doing this for you again because I love you. Seriously though. Today I will show you about, also don't pay any attention to the background. I'm still in the process of building out this studio of mine, and right, once I am finished with this, I will get back to tidying up everything, and everything will be hopefully looking much better next video. So what are we going to do? I will show you how a Metroid Style Health system, energy system, whatever you want to call it. I know in Metroid they use the term energy. How such a system can be realized in GameMaker Studio 2. And yeah, follow me along with it. Disclaimer, as usual, I will not be holding hands, so if you don't know about anything that comes up, for example, what a string is, it's upon you to educate yourself to reach this level, because I am not going to hold hands. I think I said this before. And also, you have to figure out how to implement this into your game, because every game is different, and I can't do tech support either. But you are clever cookies. You are going to figure this out, I am sure. Let's start by looking at what I prepared so far. So I prepared a sprite which has two sub-images, 0 and 1, which basically are mimicking what the energy containers in Super Metroid are looking like. This is an empty container and this is a full container. Simple enough. Also, I prepared an object which is empty at the time being. It's called Health System. You will likely, I don't know if you will use just this single object in your game or if you are going to integrate this into a bigger controller. You will figure that out as well. And I made a room, very simple. It has the Super Nintendo resolution as height and width. And I'm using viewports, viewport 0, which basically is the whole room as a viewport, and no, not as a viewport. The camera is the whole room, and the viewport is this times 4, so it scales everything up. And of course I put the health system in the room. Right, so that is that. And let's start by doing the health system. And it actually is not much work. Pretty funny thing. Not many lines of code to do this. And while I was preparing this last night, I was thinking about like the easiest approach. So I think I found the easiest approach. What we will prepare in the create event. You can, of course, also put this into the variable definitions, but I will use the create event just to show you everything. Right. So we start with an X position and a Y position where we will place our HUD or HUD or GUI. So where we will place this thing. If we have these two variables to edit in the create event, that makes everything easier afterwards. And then we simply need, I call it energy, how much energy Samus has, because I didn't call it health, because health is a built-in variable. And I try to stay away from built-in variables unless I really need them. So energy and energy max, so our maximum energy. And we set both to 99. And also what we are going to do here, we don't have to do this, but I'm kind of OCD about this. We create a variable which we will basically update every step event, so we wouldn't have to define it in the create event. But as I said, I'm OCD about this. And we will just have the energy string, set this to energy for the time being. The energy string will be what says energy below the energy tanks. It will make sense down the way. And that is that. That's the create event already. The step event is not much more code. So what we define here are the containers. I could have also called this variable tanks because they are energy tanks. I just didn't remember. But anyway, so containers. We will use a little bit of math. We will work with ceilings and floorings, like rounding up, rounding down, fractions and everything. I won't go into detail too much, but yeah. So we start off by defining or by calculating how many containers we have. And it's pretty simple. We just look how many maximum energy we have, how high our energy max is. Do a little bit of subtraction and no, not subtraction, division. Sorry, a little bit of division. And in the end, we then figure out how many containers we have to have if we have that much of a maximum energy. Sound weird? Okay, then just follow me. Don't question this. Just do as I show you. Right, energy max subtracted by 100 and divided by 100. Then we will also work out how many full containers we have, because it doesn't just it's not enough to know how many containers we have. We also have to know how many of them are full, because we don't want to draw all of them like either full or empty, but we want to differentiate. So here we floor the variable and it will be the maximum between 0 and energy. Why? Because energy could very well become negative at some point if you lose too much energy. And the way this function, this calculation is set up, we would end up with a positive if we wouldn't use 0 as the lowest or the highest in this case. Again, if it sounds weird, don't question me. Right, energy string. This is the string we originally initiated in the create event, but we will work this out or update this every step event. And we make a string out again of 0 or energy and subtract from containers by 100. And what this does is that it shows only the last 2 digits. Right, that's the energy thing. And in order to make this a little bit more tidy, we check the string length. And if the string is only showing 1 digit, like the last digit, 0 to 9, then we convert the string to, we add a 0 at the beginning so that it's always 2 digits. All right, and that is the step event. We now move on. Let's go to the draw event. And now it gets kind of funny, tricky. Not tricky, but yeah. So we start off with doing some helper variables just to make everything more readable, which is always a good thing. We check out the width and the height. Whoops. Next up, we will define how many columns we have per row, which are 7 in this case. And if you look at Super Metroid, for example, you have 7 energy tanks per row, right? Which are 7 columns, so to speak. We have 2 rows, 7 columns. And this place is where you would later on define this. If you, for whatever reason, want to have more or less, I just put this comment here to remind you. If you want more or less than 7 in a row, you would modify this to, like, let's say 9, 15, whatever. And last variable is we make a local variable of this variable simply because we need a local variable to modify this full container thing without modifying it completely. We start with an incrementer variable and do a repeat loop, which will repeat as often times as there are containers. And if there are no containers, it won't fire at all. So simple as that. So variable row, again, the floor, and what we are doing here is we go through each and every container or energy tank, if you want, and work out basically its number in this grid and if it's full or not. And then we exactly know where to put it and what to do with it. Right, times. And as I said earlier, this is basically just a lot of math, working with divisions, multiplications, subtractions, fractions. And I was always a very bad math student back in school. I always wondered when or if I ever need to know math. And yeah, That's basically now when I need it. So tank full. And now we draw the sprite, which is simple. We draw the sprite, the health tank. The sub image is whether the current one is full or not, 0 or 1, which corresponds to our sprite, because 0 not full is 0 and image index 1 is the full one. Simple. And then we use our hard X position, but to this we add the column times the width of the sprite and the Y position. Wait, what's wrong here? Oh. Did I? Ah, good that I pay attention. Sorry. I kind of slipped the line here. So that's more like it. What the hell happened there? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, we draw the sprite with the correct local variables. And afterwards, we modify the full containers. We subtract 1 from that numbers and we add 1 to our incrementer so that the next time this runs, it has the updated values. Right, so that's for drawing the containers. Now we finally draw the word energy and how much energy we have. And it's good practice to set the vertical and horizontal alignment of any strings you are drawing or any text you are drawing every time you draw something, just so you are not surprised by... So maybe you forget to set this and then you have some funky alignment settings and you can't remember why. So it's good practice to always set them before you actually draw text. And I didn't prepare any like fancy font for this project. We use the built-in font of GameMaker Studio 2, which doesn't look that nice. But yeah, so that's basically, that gave me an idea that I may do a sprite font tutorial, because this would energy string, because this would make things look so much nicer than using default text fonts. Right. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's test the things. Wait, only referenced once? Ah, okay, typo. Haha. Yeah, G1 and... Right, okay, good. Now let's test things. At the moment, this is what we got. Energy 99, because that's how much we have. We have 99 and our max is 99. Now, in order to modify this, you will likely use an object which the player acquires, and then, yeah, that's the energy tank. And so you make it that every energy tank modifies the energy max, and adds 100 to it. So let's make it clear that this here is always set to 99 and increments of 100. So if you add to this, add in 100s. And we set the energy to 199 as well. That would basically be full energy. However, like in Metroid, it will only draw 99. So here we have a full tank and 99 energy. And yeah, it works like in Metroid. So for example, we encountered some enemies. We now have 150. So we have a full tank and 50 of energy. And simple as that. So once we go down to 99, we now have an empty tank. You see, an empty tank and 99. Or we have 5. And then we have 0, 5, because we modified the string, and an empty tank. And that's basically simple as that. So you only modify the energy max, and this then works out how many tanks you are supposed to have. So for example, let's put it like this, and let's put it like this. So these are 12 tanks in total. 7, 10, 12. And we have 1099. So 99 health and 10 full tanks. Simple as that. And as you see, the lines and the rows, they also work. As I said before, if you want to modify columns, not lines and rows, columns and rows, if you want to modify this, you can go like this. And now we have 9 in a row. And we are 3. But let's get back to 7, because that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, simple as that. Then also to modify further the position, we set this to like 8 pixels and 8 pixels. And you see, all of a sudden, it's 8 pixels away. Bear in mind that this is the draw event, not the draw GUI event, because the draw GUI event sometimes, or not sometimes, depending on scaling, the draw GUI event has a different resolution than the draw event. And let's see how it looks here. You see, it's scaled differently. So we would have to set the resolution of the draw GUI event independently, but that's for another tutorial, or you just look up draw GUI event tutorials. I personally, because I'm working on a pixel art game myself, I like to use the draw event even for my GUI, my GUI. And I work with the camera X and Y position in order to keep the GUI in view. However, again, that's for another tutorial. But as you see, it totally works. You can also modify this some more, like as we said, it's supposed to have 14 containers. If we have even more than 14, like 19, it just scales up. So this is our origin, so nothing is supposed to be here, but it's possible theoretically, right? So that totally works. It would go up as much as you want to. Or of course, you can modify those and have 10s in a row. And then it would work out again. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm proud of myself. Yeah. That is that. Right. Okay. So before we now part ways, let's have a little heart to heart, just the two of us. So I really love what I'm doing here, and I want to continue doing this, like putting out awesome tutorials for GameMaker Studio 2. And I need your help. I need your help to assault the like button, because let's face it, this was a pretty awesome tutorial. Also, I need you to subscribe to my channel and do this bell notification stuff, because YouTube loves all these things. And it really helps me to grow this channel, because I want to grow this channel, and this channel has to grow. You can tell all your game making friends about this awesome channel, and yeah. You can also feel free to leave a comment what type of tutorials you would like to see, and I will see what I can do. So far, yeah, stay awesome, be creative, do something awesome. 2 times awesome. Anyways, bye.